مساء النور للجميع. Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are so sorry for the slight delay. There has been some configuration issues, and it's on. We're gonna start the show now. And you are all welcome. I hope you are all doing well tonight. Tonight we're going to discuss the subject of how to handle the stress on the air traffic control job. And we are going to call our first guest, Mr. Slim Haji.
الو
Hello, Sluma.
هلا طول الصباح
7.
تسمع فيا؟
نسمع فيك.
حابب نسمع فيك.
Okay, can we start the discussion?
Yes, you can.
So, as you suggested before, tonight's topic is how to handle the stress in the air traffic controller job.
Yes, of course. I wanted to suggest such a kind of topics tonight because I think that is so important and it's directly related to our job and it affects the job and control.
Yes.
Any other equipment and as well as any other element existing around an air traffic controller. So I welcome you, Mr. Tahar.
Thank you.
And I hope there are a lot of people listening to us tonight, because the topic is so much important.
Yes, it is.
And also, we invite everyone to join us in this discussion. So, Mr. Taha, you have the word if you want.
Thank you. So, who's else with us tonight? Mr. Muhammad Ali Matawi, is he available?
For the moment, it's only me and you, because Mr. Muhammad Ali is a bit sick. We wish him a very fast rehabilitation, but I guess he's listening to us right now.
Okay, we wish him to recover soon. And who's else?
Or maybe during the transmission, Mr. Ahmed Fessi will join us from the area control center.
Okay,
he told me that maybe he will join us. It depends on his work rest time. If he will be able to join us, he will join us soon.
He's very welcome to join us at any moment.
So for me, Mr. Taha, I would like to speak a little bit about stress and fatigue and their impact on the exercise of our job.
Yes.
First of all, I think that the human body, as a machine, it is affected by several external elements during the whole day long. Also, the physical and mental efforts affect and reduce considerably its performance.
Okay.
So fatigue and stress are two main hazards threatening an air traffic controller's job, and they may influence his awareness during his job exercise, and as a consequence, they may influence his decisions while exercising his job on the position.
Yes.
So for me, stress and fatigue must be considered as real hazards, and also in aviation professional's job, and mainly in air traffic controller job. They can be compared to any other hazard, such as equipment dysfunctions or any other one.
Yes.
So for me, I think that an air traffic controller who is his maximum working period, as well as his minimum resting period. And also, as it is cited in manual of the FATCA, which is the Fatigue Management Guide for Air Traffic Service Providers, there must be an implementation of Fatigue Risk Management System, which is called FRMS.
Yes.
So I suggest that an air traffic controller, a part of his job, he must well control the way he lives, his rest time, his free time. He must take a lot of rest, and also he must know how to manage his free time.
And also,
because yes, go ahead, Mr. Taha.
Maybe here interferes the money issues. Can be an element of stress in his life, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean that an air traffic controller, for example, he must have adequate rest and sleep
Yes.
to refresh all aspects of all his aspects, and also he must take maximum time of rest as possible as he can to refresh his physical and mental performances.
Yeah. And for you personally, how you handle your living, how you handle your living conditions, the stress caused by your living conditions, how you handle it in a way to not affect your work?
Thank you for this question. Personally, a part of my job, I try to sleep a lot whenever I can, and
Yes.
also to practice sport, because I think that being in a physical good behavior influence and has a direct impact on the way of behaving with people, and also with the way I live. I try also to enjoy my vacation, my free time, to do some leisure activities, to forget the stress, and also to refresh my mind.
Yeah, I think it is very important to have some leisure activity, many leisure activities during your spare time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course.
Like what? What kind of leisure activity do you suggest?
Practicing sports activities, uh, going out, for people who are fans of, for example, campings. They can do that. I don't know. Do the activity that someone sees that it's the best thing for him to forget about stress, to forget about the job, etc. Meet some friends, go to the cinema, go shopping sometimes. I don't know. There is an infinity of activities that someone can do to forget about stress and about the job.
Yes. Every person has its own kind of activities that fits its own personality.
Mm-hmm. There is also another important point,
Which is
that it is related to the employer.
Yes.
We as air traffic controllers,
Yes.
we must be the employer who employ air traffic controller must be responsible to provide a very suitable schedule.
Yes.
In order to provide sufficient resting time during a working shift.
Okay. Okay, Sluma, we're gonna take a break, and then when we will back, we'll discuss stress at work.
Okay, Mr. Taha, I'm listening to you, and we will be back after this short.
We'll be back in a few minutes.
Bye.
Sluma, if you don't mind, you have too much background noise. If you can decrease.
Okay, I will switch off the computer.
Thank
and
you.
I will only maintain the communication through my phone.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Listen.
Is it better like this?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Mr. Tar, are you listening to me?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Yes, I suggest to put some music during the rest, during the break if you want.
Yeah, I'm putting music, but the sound is a little bit weak. I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you sound very clear now. Just.
No.
Okay, what about now?
It's almost the same.
Okay, Sluma. Salim, do you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, we are back and we'll discuss the stress conditions at work. We'll bring up the most common kind of stress at work. We'll discuss them one by one, and which is the most which is the one that affects the controller conditions most.
Excuse me, Mr. Tar, I'm not hearing you very well. Can you please repeat the question?
What about now? Do you hear me?
Yes, now I'm hearing you.
Okay. So I said we'll discuss the stress in the workplace, and we'll talk about the stress conditions one by one, which is the one that affects the controller, the tasks the most.
For me, I think that the first most important element which must be considered when exercising a traffic controller job is the area where he is working, people surrounding him while working.
Okay.
Equipments also are so important. The
Yes.
quality and the efficiency of equipment are used by the air traffic controller during his job. And also there are also other factors which may affect an air traffic controller job and which may cause stress. For example, the relation between and air traffic controllers within the group. I think that air traffic controllers, as they are working as a group, they must keep a good relationship between them. I mean, good relationships may affect the exercise of air traffic controller job.
Yes.
They must. They have to try to avoid problems and troubles between them. Keep the communication between them, and also try to resolve problems in a manner and in a way that will not influence and affect the job itself.
Okay.
I would like also to speak about the equipments used by an air traffic controller while working. Whatever the radio, the transmitter, equipment and screen, which show the information that are provided by the air traffic controller. I think that they must be working in a very, very efficient way. And also, part of this, I would like to speak about the area where the air traffic controller was working. I think that the noise,
yes,
the noise caused by equipment may affect the air traffic controller and may cause job. So we must choose equipment which are in a very high performance level in order to decrease the noise level within the area.
So do you think the weather can be a stressful condition?
Excuse me?
The weather conditions, do you think that could be a type of stress that can affect the controller tasks?
Yes, of course. Bad weather conditions, for example, which will lead to stress because weather is a very important factor related to the air traffic controller job. As you know, during, for example, bad weathers, we must expect a lot of deviation, a lot of avoidance aircraft. So they may affect the way an air traffic controller work. He will take in consideration that he must change, for example, the way he makes separation between aircraft. It will cause some delays. And also, bad weather conditions are a very, very hazardous factor to aviation safety. Some kind of clouds or some kind of precipitations are really very hazardous. So during bad weather conditions, the awareness of an air traffic controllers must be in the top.
Good. So among those types we talked about, which one do you think it affects our task the most?
For me, I think that human factors,
yes,
less of sleep, and also stress are the most important factors which affect directly an air traffic controller job. That is why an air traffic controller, before going to his job, must be in a good mood, sufficiently rested, and ready to go to work, to do his job as well as he can.
Okay. For me, I think the equipment conditions and maybe malfunction is one that can affect most the air traffic controller task, because
Can you please tell us about some examples about that? For example, a dysfunction in equipment which may cause, for example, stress or something like that.
For example, what happened in the last night shift we worked together,
Yes.
the absence of meteo messages on our system.
Yes, the meteo report.
Yes, and the way we handle this.
Yeah.
And also the radio frequency malfunctions is the one that can affect our task most. Communication failure, whether it is total or partially unavailable, because this
yes, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, because besides it is a stressful condition, it is also a technical dysfunction. So it will it is affecting our task in both at both levels. It can affect our performances and the air traffic flow. It can make delays.
Yes, of course. I have also something, another point I would like to talk about it,
Yeah,
and which may cause stress, and to which we are really always affected, especially in Java. The workload of the air traffic controller. Air traffic controllers, for example, in Java, due to the limited number of air traffic controllers within the tower, sometimes are charged with very, very considerate workload. They are obliged sometimes to handle more than one task in a time. So I think that the workload can contribute to a very, very high level of fatigue. I think that we must reduce the workload of the air traffic controller, and also to provide sufficient number of air traffic controllers.
Excuse me,
within the tower.
Excuse me. How we can reduce the workload of the air traffic controller? What do you mean by that point?
It's easy. Every air traffic controller must be charged with only one task. Sometimes the air traffic controller is charged with more than one task. So this thing affects the workload. So to do that, I think that we must afford a sufficient number of air traffic controllers, and also devise and devise the workload and task within the tower, or within the area control center, for example.
Okay, you can get back to the point where you were before.
Excuse me?
You can get to your previous point.
Yes, I spoke about the workload. So we must provide a sufficient number of air traffic controller in every unit of control.
Yes.
Because high workload may exceed the capacity of of fatigue in an individual.
And if there is not an enough number of air traffic controllers to handle the situation, what are we going to do?
For the moment, as an insufficient number, an individual traffic controller is dealing and handling more than one task. So something which is very so powerful, and which may affect his performance.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Mr. What do you suggest as a solution?
Okay, I think we can get. We have to get enough training for more training sessions to how to handle stress.
Mm-hmm.
And your point is good about providing enough number of air traffic controllers. Yes, we have shortage on air traffic controller staff.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is we have to get suitable training sessions for that item. We are not well trained for stressful situations like the equipment malfunctions and
there is another point also.
yes.
As we spoke about the weather environment and the job environment within the tower or the approach room or the area control center. I would like to say that most of the time, sleeping at work during the rest period is not really at a very good quality. So as a result, the air traffic controller, for example, during night shift, cannot obtain very comfortable sleep quality in order to well provide his job after being wake up. So sleeping within good conditions, whatever in the tower or in the approach room or the area control center restrooms, must affect the air traffic controller.
Good.
And it's related to environmental factors.
Yeah. So you say the resting conditions are poor, and they can affect.
Excuse me?
You say the resting conditions are poor at work, and they can affect the task of the air traffic controller. Yes, it is right. And I may.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
it affects directly.
I may have something to add here, which is the equipment we use, and if we have better equipment, I think
the noise. Yes.
Yeah, there will be minimum stressful conditions regarding the equipment malfunctions.
Yeah. Yes, of course. They may cause a disorder in the sleep.
Yeah.
During sleeping, it may cause a disorder.
Which I'm telling, if we have the better technology at work, like in other international airports in Europe and USA,
why not?
If we have that kind of technology, we have minimum of equipment malfunction situations.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and we'll handle minimum stressful situations. We'll have better place of work. We'll have,
yes, of course.
Yeah.
Finally, I would like to say something.
Yes.
I would like that through this conversation, and I hope that a lot of people are listening to us, we start to think about solutions to problems which may affect traffic control life and which may cause stress and fatigue. Whatever they are, we must think about a solution to every problem. So that is what I wanted to say, dealing with topic. I would like to thank you very much, Mr. Taha, for giving me this opportunity, and I hope that the transmission is still online, and I hope that other people and other guys will join us during this evening. I will let you the word now to speak.
Thank you. And if we have other people to add to the discussion, let them know.
Okay, I will do. Thank you very much.
Who's available to join us?
Okay, I will do. Maybe I will come back.
Okay, we'll take a music break and then we'll be back.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taha.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. We're still here, don't go so far. And now we're gonna raise the rhythm a little bit.
عزمان الماضي وتمحينا يا قصاص عم تكتب أسامينا عزمان الماضي وتمحينا جينا لحنان ليالينا والرقص يطول علينا ليالينا ليالينا يا قصاص عم تكتب أسامينا عزمان الماضي وتمحينا يا قصص عم تكتب أسامينا عزمان الماضي وتمحينا جينا لحنان ليالينا والرقص يطول علينا ليالينا يا قصص من بالي شيلينا وبقلب الحاضر خلينا يا قصص من بالي شيلينا وبقلب الحاضر خلينا شو بدك بزمان الماضي نحنا مخلينا لماضينا 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 يا قصص عم تكتب أسامينا عزمان الماضي وتمحينا يا قصص عم تكتب أسامينا عزمان الماضي وتمحينا جينا لحنان ليالينا والرقص يطول ليالينا يا زمن بالقصص المنسية أو بالأحلام الوردية يا زمن بالقصص المنسية أو بالأحلام الوردية لا تتركنا أسرى امبارح ولا ننظر بكرة ليلي لا تتركنا أسرى امبارح ولا ننظر بكرة جينا نحنا وتنادينا والرقص يطول ليالينا 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 يا قصص عم تكتب أسامينا عزمان الماضي وتمحينا يا قصص عم تكتب أسامينا غريب مثل العادي حبك يا حبيبي يمكن لأنك مش عادي حبك يا حبيبي شي غريب مثل العادي حبك يا حبيبي يمكن لأنك مش عادي حبك يا حبيبي ساعات شوفك غريب ساعات شوفك غريب ساعات شوفك غريب ساعات شوفك غريب انت مش غريب مش غريب مثل العادي يا حبيبي يمكن لأنك مش عادي حبك يا حبيبي شي غريب تشتاق لي كتير وبتخبي بقلبك اللي بحبني شو بصير قد الدنيا بحبك شي غريب تشتاق لي كتير وبتخبي بقلبك اللي بحبني شو بصير قد الدنيا بحبك إلا ما تقلي قلبك خبي الكلمة وخلي إلا ما تقلي قلبك خبي الكلمة وخلي بين ساكن وبعيد وقريب شي غريب مثل العادي يا حبيبي لأنك مش عادي يا حبيبي حبك لما تزعل مني وبتصير تراضيني حبك لما تسأل عني ما بدك تحكيني حبك لما تزعل مني وتصير تراضيني حبك لما تسأل عني ما بدك تحكيني حبك انت ساكت تحكي لما تزعل ترسم تحكي حبك انت ساكت تحكي لما تزعل ترسم تحكي حبك كيف تبقى حبي لما علمت شي غريب شي غريب مثل العادي يا حبيبي لأنك مش عادي يا حبيبي شي غريب مثل العادي حبك يا حبيبي يمكن بقلبك مش عادي حبك يا حبيبي ساعاتك شوفك غريب ساعاتك شوفك غريب ساعاتك شوفك غريب وساعاتك شوفك غريب انت مش غريب مش غريب مش غريب
Hello again, we are back. The show is still on. Hope you're still there. Hope you are all still there. So we were discussing the topic of how to handle the stress on air traffic controller job. Air traffic controllers do handle too much stress do have too much stress to handle, and they work in very, very stressful situations, as Slim Haji said before. They are well trained. They are well trained to handle some situations, but still have more trainings to do to handle more stress and more stressful situations, as they have to live in a balance between their normal life at home and their work conditions and their lives at work. They have to have both equilibrated lives at home and at work. So we are still waiting for other people to join us. We'll have another music break and we'll be back.
ما مر على دربي مثله ما مر شو سرق من قلبي ما بعرف شو سرق ما مر على دربي مثله ما مر شو سرق من قلبي ما بعرف شو سرق سرق لي ذكرياتي وأخد مني قهاتي سرق لي ذكرياتي وأخد مني قهاتي يا ريته ما مر يا ريته ما مر على دربي مثله ما مر شو سرق من قلبي ما بعرف شو سرق سرق لي ذكرياتي وأخد مني قهاتي سرق لي ذكرياتي وأخد مني قهاتي يا ريته ما مر يا ريته ما مر صوت بيتي ليش طل الهوى بكير قلبي انت معليش يمرق شو رح بيصير من صوت بيتي ليش طل الهوى بكير قلبي انت معليش يمرق شو رح بيصير في الزمان احتار وقفلة عمر شو صار لما صدفي مرق يا ريته ما مر على دربي مثله ما مر شو سرق من قلبي ما بعرف شو سرق سرق لي ذكرياتي وأخد مني قهاتي سرق لي ذكرياتي وأخد مني قهاتي يا ريته ما مر يا ريته ما مر شو حسيت ما الحب عندي جديد يا ما أنا تمنيت سافر دولة بعيد شو حسيت ما الحب عندي جديد ما أنا تمنيت سافر مولى بعيد ما حسبت هيك حساب يفتح له قلبي الباب لو حتى ما مرق يا ريته ما مرق ما مرق ما مرق على قلبي مكتوب ما مرق ما مرق ما مرق على قلبي مكتوب شو سرق شو سرق سرق لي ذكرياتي أخذ مني أماراتي سرق لي ذكرياتي وأخذ مني أماراتي يا ريته ما مر يا ريته ما مر يا ريته ما مر
Trust who we are, and nothing else matters. I never opened myself this way. Life is ours, living our way. Hold these words I learned to see, and nothing else matters. Trust us and I find in you. Every day for us something new. A mind for a different you. And nothing else matters. Never give what you do. Never give what you do. So close, no matter far. Couldn't be much more from us. Forever trusting who we are. And nothing else matters. They'll care for what you do. They'll care for what you know. And I know. That's right. All these worlds I only see. Ain't nothing else matters. Trust I see and I find you know. Everything for us, something new. Open mind for a different. Ain't nothing else matters. Never care for things. Never care for keeps it. I never care for what you do. I never care for what you do.
All over Moscow, down to Gonky Park, listening to the wind of change. On the summer night, soldiers passing by, listening to the wind of change. The world is closing in. Did you ever think that we could be so close, like brothers? The future's in the air, can feel it everywhere. I'm blowing with the wind of change. Take me to the magic of the moment on the glory night, where the children of tomorrow dream away in the wind of change. Walking down the street, distant memories are buried in the past forever. Follow the Moscow down to Gonky Park, listening to the wind of change. Take me to the magic of the moment on a glory night, where the children of tomorrow dream away in the wind of change. The wind of change blows straight into the face of time, like a storm wind that will ring the freedom bell for peace of mind. Let your brother like I sing what my guitar wants to sing. On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of burritos rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway. I heard the mission bell. I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven and this could be hell. Then she lit up a candle and she showed me the way. There were voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place. Ready a room at the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here. Her mind is differently twisted. She got the Mercedes Benz. She got a lot of pretty, pretty boys. She got me. How they dance in the courtyard. Sweet summer sweat. Some dance to remember. Some dance to forget. So I called up the captain. Please bring me my wine. He said, we haven't had that spirit here since 1969. And still those voices are calling from far away. When you're up in the middle of the night, you hear them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place. They living it up at the Hotel California. What a nice surprise, what a nice surprise when you're alive. Mirrors on the ceiling, they drink champagne on ice. She said, we are all just prisoners here of our own device. And in the master's chambers, they gathered for the feast. They stab it with their stealing eyes, but they just can't kill the beast. Nothing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find the passage back to the place I was before. Relax at the nightland, we are programmed to receive. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Hello again on the ATCO Radiolive. So as we discussed previously, air traffic controllers do handle too much stress, and as Mr. Salim Haji suggested and said previously, air traffic controllers deal with stress just not like anyone, but with a high level of awareness. So to keep up with this level of awareness, they do have a lot to do at home and at work. At home, they should have a healthy diet. They should practice a lot of sports. They should see families, friends, do as much of hobbies as they can, travel a lot, get enough sleep, and same as work, rest well when they are not when they are on their resting hours. Always keep concentrating, because they are they have the biggest responsibility for many lives on the air and on the ground. And they have to have good trainings, as we said, healthy life back at home, and a lot to do. Thank you all for staying tuned tonight, and see you soon. Thank you all. Good night.